into Gamesthetic, episode 162, back after a 1 week break. Almost went on a break today, and my internet shit itself, but we're back. We're here. I honestly, I'm an idiot. I almost forgot we could just do a pre-record. Shout out to Zach in studio for being like, hey, we can just do a pre-recorded episode. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I mean, it's pre-recorded, so now we can say shit that we can delete later.
Oh, no, we're live.
Oh, we are live?
We're live. Internet's back.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, internet's back.
Dang, we can't take some really super hot takes now.
No, internet's back. We are live. John, how are you?
I'm still here, Zach. I can always take a hot take.
So we literally just talked over the opening then?
Oh, no, it's muted. It's muted.
No,
it's
no,
all good.
I saw him.
Okay.
I saw him like right before we would like stop talking. He was like, "Okay, go."
Yeah. Exactly. I've got that thing on blast. Boys, how we doing, though? How we doing? Good to see you guys. I haven't seen you guys in a few weeks.
I haven't seen y'all in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah, good to see you guys. How we doing? Yeah, because he wasn't on the last episode, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't on the
forever.
Persona episode with Agus.
Okay.
Oh, that I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. How we doing, boys?
I'm better.
Oh, funny thing about that. I stopped playing Persona.
Not even surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either.
I'm not certain I'm done with the game, but I haven't played it since.
Yeah, okay.
Shit,
that's
that's
good.
what I forgot to bring. I was going to bring my Morgana, too.
You have a Morgana. Okay.
Yeah, from the P5 Collector's Edition.
One of the 17 they released.
The original P5 collection.
Okay, there we go.
Because I also
Good
got
specification.
Because I also got the stupid school book bag that came with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've noticed that the one more edition is actually still on sale every once in a while for base price too. I've looked at it, I'm like, should I? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I have the Steal Your Heart edition.
So I will say I almost picked up the one more edition because I don't remember what site it was on, but it was some site that always runs insanely good deals. They had the one more edition for $70, and I almost bought it. I don't know why I didn't. I think it's because I was broke recently, but that was a pretty good price in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that would have been a good price.
No. Speaking of good prices, I think it was like, just Humble Bumble, whatever. They had an incredible deal recently. I didn't hit it up because I'm not a diehard fan or anything.
Yeah.
But for anyone that is, bro, that is such a stupidly good deal where I think it was like $10 and you basically bought 35 Mega Man games because the games that was in the bundle was all of the collection games.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the Battle Network collection, both the Legacy, both the X collections, the Zero collection, like so it was like 35 games for like $10. I'm like, that's a steal.
Yeah, every now and then they do like big Mega Man bundles, or they'll do
Yeah.
like a big Sonic bundle.
Yeah.
And like franchises like that, where they, especially like when they have a bunch of like older games,
Right.
they'll just give you all of them.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, I've been keeping an eye on some of those deals. Those are pretty solid. But anyway, so for today's episode, we are going to be talking about the only way to put it is really the future of Xbox, because during our break week, there was the shit show that was, with all the reports that like Xbox was giving up on their hardware essentially, and like Starfield's going to PlayStation, Indiana Jones going to PlayStation, all Halo's going to PlayStation. It was a shit show. And then they had the official Xbox podcast the other day where they talked about it in detail. And in a surprising plot twist.
It was a good show.
John's the one that listened to it.
It was an interesting
I did
podcast,
not.
actually.
Zach did not.
I didn't know it was the thing until they mentioned it today.
See, normally, I'm the one that does my homework on this. And these guys just show up and they just react and just have a good time. John's the one that listened to it. I'm impressed. What a plot twist.
It's actually a fun show.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Then we have the reports about the Switch 2 being delayed into Q1 2025. I'm looking forward to chatting about that one because this is something that I called back in the prediction episode. So we're gonna circle back to that, and then I got it in the weekly wrap up, but it's of course on the title of just how Embracer Group is basically still completely burning to the ground right now. With everything that they've been canceling and just all the job cuts and everything. So we're going to dive into that. And really whatever else, we've been off for a week. Whatever else we want to chat about, what we've been up to. Loads more in the weekly wrap-up. It's going to be a fun time. All right, boys. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's jump into things. Let's jump into the future of Xbox. Like I said, last week, all these reports came out that Xbox is basically giving up on exclusivity stuff, moving a lot of games to being multi-plat, whatever. And I will say some of it, I still think could be a possibility down the line. Like, it wouldn't shock me, let's say, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Starfield goes to PlayStation. You know, like that, something like that wouldn't shock me. Maybe a few years from now, Indiana Jones does. But I think for the most part, these first party games, they're going to be very hard. You know, first party exclusive for many years before they would ever even consider going elsewhere. You know, and just with the Xbox podcast, before John can maybe kind of talk about it, you know, in a lot more detail than I can with my notes. Like, I know some things, like Phil Spencer said, is like, I think we would be stupid to not consider that possibility, you know, in some form down the line, you know, which is fair, you know, in the gaming industry, stay open-minded, whatever, and just, you know, consider things down the line, whatever. But, you know, there are apparently 4 games going to multi-plat, and based on all the reports I've seen, it's going to be like Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, and Grounded. Those make sense, honestly, especially 2 of them being multiplayer games. Those make perfect sense.
Well, at the end of the day, just kind of leading off with it, based on everything they said during that podcast, and I think they even said during the podcast, like moving forward, there's no major changes happening to any like their plans or anything. It's like they're just realizing kind of the times that we're in, and that they can't, or like all of their games just being exclusive on Xbox, not going to work. Right. Or it's like not going to work as well. But yeah, as far as game, because the question was asked, what were the considerations for like games that they went to pick? And kind of what they said was games that were at least a year old. Of the initial games at least a year old, games that kind of had a community around them and were kind of community driven. And I think it was part of it was like they also looked at games that had like kind of an early access period.
Right.
But yeah, it was like that's why like some things like Sea of Thieves, Grounded, that's why those are in there. Then they talked about the other thing they said was games that were only on Xbox that had reached their peak, and games that could no longer grow while only being on Xbox. That's why like Hi-Fi Rush is on there, where people are considered it, because it's pretty much reached everyone it's going to reach on Xbox.
Yeah, and that one is honestly like, for these 4 games, there was a lot of reports saying that these 4 were the 4, but for Hi-Fi Rush, that one's beyond like locked in, because like there was data mining leaks showing like different graphics and images like in game that was very heavily indicating, you know, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation. So like that one's locked, which makes sense, because I mean the way they described, the way you're putting it is so accurate. Of a game like Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush, they've reached their ceiling on Xbox.
That's one thing they stressed because they kept kind of asking, hey, what are these 4 games going to be? And they kept going, we're not going to tell you what the games are, but here's what we looked at.
Here's the guidelines.
Here's what we looked at, and here's how we picked them. And that's why, like, even as I was here to say it, I'm like, okay, yeah, probably Sea of Thieves. Yeah. And then I saw Grounded later, and I went, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, I mean, those games, you put them on other consoles, and they're probably gonna do just as well on Xbox, maybe better.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you can definitely see that with Grounded and Sea of Thieves have been on PC, how they've done on that platform. True. So,
but yeah, one of kind of just besides like the games that they were talking about is, I think they've said it before, but like going forward, all big first party games and stuff will be coming to Game Pass day one.
Yeah, that's something they've confirmed is still a thing.
Yeah, they've said it before, but we haven't heard it in a while. We just see Game Pass on every trailer.
Yeah.
So they did reiterate that. And then the other big thing that they were pushing going forward is their like play anywhere, buy it once or whatever, and be able to play it on console, PC, cloud, anywhere that you can access your Xbox account. Being able to play it there, and that being like one of their big kind of pillars behind their plan going forward is like not just the game being there, but your save data and everything being able to transfer. So if you're playing on your console and move over to your PC, all of your stuff is still there.
Right.
It's like kind of emphasizing that's a big cornerstone of how they want to do it.
Yeah.
And then all their console talk, which, yeah, going into the podcast, it sounded like hardware was going to be something they didn't care about anymore. They dealt with that pretty quick. They're like, no, the cornerstone of Xbox isn't just our branding. It's not Game Pass. It's the hardware. And the reasoning they gave for it, pretty straightforward, actually. Because if we want to have Xbox games, or it's like developers, if we want them to be on Xbox and we want people to play on Xbox, having a console where we can just give them, or like having the hardware where we can say, hey, make it for these specs, and it'll play on anything that you could ever want to play an Xbox game on. That's pretty much what it boiled down to, is having the hardware makes it so any developer or anything out there, they can just give them the spec sheet and go, if you make it for this, it'll run perfectly on Xbox. And that was kind of the whole argument for it, which honestly makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And it's like, because at this point with Game Pass, which they did say 34 million users, incredible number.
Yep.
But yeah, with like Game Pass and that, yeah, you can have Game Pass and it's like you can access it on different computers and that. But at the end of the day, they got to have a target to make the games for.
Yeah.
So make your console. Your console's not, at this point, the console's not really what they're selling.
Right.
It's just the way to access their games.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's kind of what they're viewing it as.
Right. And I feel like all the reports that like came out last week, I honestly feel like that was just like one person that just somehow, some way got the report out there in the right kind of trolly way, and everyone just kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
Because like you look at the big picture, right? We saw the massive Xbox leak where it basically like leaked out like all future hardware plans. Now, granted, Phil came out and said a lot of those plans have changed, whatever. Have they though? We'll see. Well, it's like you do that, you go through this like year-plus process to buy Activision Blizzard, and you're going to tell me that between when the deal of Activision Blizzard got finalized, within the last few months, something random happened that was so catastrophic where everyone's just like, "Whoa, Xbox is done, guys. We can't make. We're done. Everything's going multi." Like that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. And I also saw with the podcast, whatever, they detailed that like refreshing new hardware, set to come out like this holiday, and they're talking about the next console where it's gonna be the biggest technical leap ever.
Well,
so that's pretty fascinating.
Well, it's unsure based on the phrasing and the context and when they were talking about it if the biggest technical leap is going to be this mid-generation Xbox.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or the next generation of console that they're going to make.
Yeah.
Because just the timing of when they said it was while they were kind of talking about it, almost sounded like updating the current series of consoles. But they could have been referring to it as the next generation as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not certain there. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to just one up everything they have now, and just make it with more accessible hardware in it. But yeah, they did say as well, like I think we've mentioned it already, but like Starfield, Indiana Jones were they were two games name dropped. Said these games are not going multi-plat. It's like these are staying on Xbox. We are not doing anything with these. And from the way it sounded, it's like it seems kind of like the PlayStation approach to stuff, where at least that's the vibe I got, where it's like they're gonna make the games, it's gonna be on Xbox for a little while, and then they may look at some of the games being able to go to, like with Sony, it's mostly PC. That it takes a couple years to get to. Yeah, but kind of that approach where it's like, okay, we'll have it for a couple years and then we'll let other people play it on something else.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be every game.
Right.
And then it also sounded like some games, kind of like the smaller games, the games that aren't necessarily meant to be on one console, kind of like Hi-Fi Rush, where that's a game where it exploded out when it came out.
Yeah.
But if it was on everything, it would have been everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But I think games like that, they're going to be more open to releasing everywhere.
Right. With this exciting new hardware that's apparently coming holiday this year, what do you think it is? What do both of you guys think it is? Do you think it's going to be like that mid-gen refresh we saw on the roadmap, or do you think it'd be a possible handheld that we saw on the roadmap, or both? Do you think they might do both?
The X Sphere.
All right, now we're dialing into some Drake and Josh things here with the game sphere. Is that what we're kind of feeling here?
No.
It's a combination. It's a sphere that you hold, and it has little indents on the sides where you hold it like that, and it projects outwards.
No, that's not even what I was thinking.
Where are you going with it?
My thing when the VR route, it's a big ass sphere you actually get into, strap
Oh my
into.
God, stop.
Full 360
See,
all around motion.
We went two
yeah,
different directions,
Yes,
and
we
they're
did.
both just as bad.
Yeah, and when you started describing like sphere, to, like to kind of like put on whatever. My first thought was like, what are we about to be like Professor X with Cerebro? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Like,
So, meanwhile, I'm just imagining holding a console here while you look up and
Right.
play.
yeah. But I mean, do you
With the
guys
power of imagination.
exactly? But do you guys think like a possible handheld is in the works, or do you think it's gonna be like a mid-gen refresh?
It'll be a mid-gen refresh with some, not a true handheld, but a weird secondary handheld.
Like
that-
a PlayStation Portal?
yeah,
No.
it's gonna be some strange, not natively playing games console,
No.
like handheld thing that you have to
No.
carry around.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with John's take
it probably is.
with some sort of offshoot Steam Deck as the Xbox deck.
But it's gonna be touchscreen.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like the Portal. It's literally just the PlayStation Portal, but it's the Xbox Portal.
I don't know what that is.
It's the weird.
That's
It's
your life is better for not knowing.
It's like a Switch, but you hold it with the controllers on the side. You know how you have you see like the little controller that attachment you can put on a phone.
No.
Okay, well it's kind of like a big screen in the middle, like a Switch, but with the controllers on the sides, and it's terrible.
I didn't even know Sony released that.
We've talked about it.
Have we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I apparently blotted that up from my
This is
memory.
back
This is probably one of the times where you might have fallen asleep. I think. We've talked about it.
I don't remember that.
Mostly when we talked about it was when me and Alex were going on a rant saying it better have all of these features and be this price point to be good, and it had none of the features, and it's more expensive.
Yeah, it's
I
like
most definitely fell asleep
$200.
during that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's literally you just take a DualSense, you split it in half, you slap a screen and slap the DualSense on it. And that's what it is. But the thing is, you can't play it natively. It's only like via like
Sony, bring back the PS Vita.
We talked about that. It's possible. That was last episode.
All you gotta do is give me the same weird screen thing you have, but give it all the Vita functionality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we talked about that last episode. That's apparently in the works.
Oh, man.
That's in the works. So that's something to look at in the future. But no, I mean, if they're gonna do a handheld and they just do something like a PlayStation Portal, that's gonna be very depressing. I want an Xbox handheld.
Well, no,
don't.
I have a feeling.
do.
I have a feeling that eventually they're gonna make a handheld, but they're gonna want some gimmick thing with their like refresh of the consoles.
Right.
So they're gonna give you some weird handheld thing so you can play it, because they're like I said, their big thing that they were pushing was play anywhere.
That is true. Play anywhere. John might be onto something. So, okay, so what you're thinking is that the refresh is basically going to come in like a bundle where it's going to be the console and this handheld thing, almost like a Wii U.
Almost like an Xbox Switch.
Xbox Switch or a Wii U. Yes, one of the two.
You're
Is
saying,
that the vibe?
You're saying two things that are not good for talking about an updated version of a console.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's
So, look-
that Switch has the manpower of 40 fish.
So look, I'm picturing. Shut up, Zach. So I'm picturing a box. Okay, we're gonna, our retail box. It's gonna come with the refresh console. That's gonna be the cylinder thing. So they're really hard committing that you got to stand this thing up. And it's gonna come with this, this portal as well as the new controller, whatever it is. That's gonna be the exciting hardware. Is that what we're feeling? Is that what's about to happen?
Yeah, it's gonna come bundled together.
Yeah.
Or you buy just the console and the controller, and then you have a secondary box that's just that thing for people who want to just buy it.
Okay.
What's the name?
The kicker is it only works with the updated one.
No.
What's the name, John?
That's a great name. What's the name? I mean, you're the name guy for the Switch 2. Electric Boogaloo. I mean, you're the name guy.
All I called it was the new Nintendo Switch.
I know, and then we just kept rattling off names. What's the name, John? What's the name for the new Xbox refresh? The Series V, the Series W,
Xfinity,
Series Z, Xfinity. That's a good.
You can't do that. That's trademark.
I just trademark, but it would be great.
No, honestly, they'll probably call it something dumb like X Mobile.
Oh yeah, something stupid.
Because this is gonna be the
XP. There you go.
Because this is gonna be like the X.
Just call it Vista.
Okay, wait. So this is the updated one.
Stop.
This is.
Stop. Put that in the past. Leave that in the past.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Last generation, we had the Xbox One.
Yes.
But then we had the updated version, which was the Xbox One
One
S. No, S first.
Oh, there was an
And
S.
then it was
There was an S.
There was an S.
don't
And then it
remember
was
that.
the Xbox One X. So this has got to be the Xbox Series XS.
Or the Xbox Series X1.
No. Xbox Series XS.
See, if you call it the Xbox Series X1 and it comes with the portal thing, that's the one is because it's like everything is in one. You can do everything with this box.
Attach a rocket, you can send it into space.
Xbox Series X squared.
That's also possible. Who knows, man? Hey,
man.
Look. The portable, I'm calling it. It's going to be called Xbox Series XP for X Portable. That's what it's going to be. I'm calling it right now. XP. That's going to be the name for it. I mean, I would be.
It's
down
gonna
for
be
it.
something dumb, regardless.
It's got to be something.
Yeah, well, it's going to be something stupid. I mean, Xbox, like, they have no direction on naming. They're like Nintendo. They have no direction on name. They're just doing their thing.
It's gonna be the Xbox Portal.
Xbox, yeah, just straight up, just take a page out of PlayStation.
Yeah, because it's like then they're just gonna have them compete, and then when neither of them sell well, they're gonna blame the other.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be like the Spider-Man, finger point is all it's gonna be. No, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what the exciting hardware is gonna be. We saw like the roadmap and stuff, so I'm very, very curious if we're gonna see like that handheld, or if it's just gonna be like a big midget or this just big combo. So I'm looking forward to that. New controller is supposed to come out sometime this year too, like the mid-grade controller between the crappy one that comes with the console and then the Elite. There's some that's coming out this year. That's supposed to be announced in the next few months, I think. So I don't know. Diablo 4 is also coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
March 28th.
Yeah.
So that's kind of opening the door for Activision Blizzard games, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they made a big point of saying like since that's done, Activision Blizzard games. The only reason they really specified Diablo 4 is it's the only one that is somewhat relevant. But yeah, Blizzard games will, as they make games over the years, would come to Game Pass.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Even though they had one game in development, they got canceled after 4 years of development, whatever it was. I don't remember. Whatever the survival game was that they were working on. So I don't know. I'll be curious. The one thing I'm still gonna be curious to see eventually is how they're gonna handle anything with let's say Warcraft. On PC. Are they gonna merge that into a PC Game Pass somehow? Similar to how they struck a deal with Riot to get League of Legends on Game Pass and you get all the champions, some bullshit like that. I'm curious if they're going to do something with WoW on, PC Game Pass. That's just going to be, we'll see.
I mean, I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it would hurt Blizzard or Xbox if they just give people free crap on their account.
Yeah.
I will say it was funny because when they were talking about, developers coming to Xbox and being able to be successful because of the different models that Xbox offers for people for releases, whether it be free to play, early access, discounted games and stuff like that. Basically on release, for anybody anywhere can play it how they want to. And it's the main game they pointed to for it was Power World.
Yes.
But having Power World be able to release in its technically early access period, or game preview as Xbox calls it. It's they pointed it, and then it was funny because when they talked about games being on every system, they did make a point to talk about Call of Duty.
Okay, I would hope so after everything they went through.
Yeah, it's they did, because it was they were talking about games on every system, and they were Yeah, it was kind of like our Call of Duty games.
They're really trying to get that point across. Oh, that's funny. So overall, good podcast though.
I mean, it was
enjoyable.
It was an enjoyable listen, and it was also nice because it was only like 35 minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's a nice
that's
amount.
not bad then. I may actually stop and actually listen to it then at some point. To really get the full context. I meant to. I've had a busy week.
It was kind of thing. It was like a shorter. It may have been somewhere around 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere in there, I think.
Okay.
But it was nice because it was kind of like we're gonna hit the main points, but we got big people here. It's like we got big names at Xbox here, so we can't go long.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you had 3 of them there. You had Matt Booty, Sarah Vaughn, and Phil Spencer.
Yeah, it was like, look at all the big names we got, but we got to be quick.
Yeah, it's like we don't have a lot of time. Yeah. All right, so before we move on to our next topic, let's give a special shout out to one of our sponsors, Agent Ink. You can pick up a jersey, use the referral link down below. We've got great jerseys at the shop, some of the best jerseys across the entire website. Zach's looking around. Where's our shell? Hey, I thought I would try something different today. All right, instead of just hitting everything at the beginning, let's spread it out throughout the show.
Speaking of big shout outs, I want to give a big shout out to Tekken 8. Woo! Tekken 8, 3 weeks out from launch, 2 million copies sold.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
solid.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think it was Tekken 7 took a couple months to hit that number.
Yep.
And especially for like fighting games in modern times, like Tekken is kind of it's the one that appeals to casuals the most.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why like it's able to hit those numbers a bit quicker.
Yep.
Impressive how fast it was able to hit them for a fighting game.
Mm.
But yeah, just kind of wanted to shout that out because a lot of fighting games these days don't even sell 2 million copies, or it's like they may sell 2 million over the course of their lifetime, and Tekken 8's managed to do it in 3 weeks.
Hell yeah! Shout out to that.
Still very fun.
Yeah, good.
Still mad I don't got any of my mains in it.
Opens up new possibilities for you.
I mean, not really. I just went back to a main from two games ago.
Opens up new possibilities for you.
Also, I mean, you say that part's disappointing, Zach, but still, for a launch fighting game these days, like 30
oh, it's got a good
is
roster.
Incredible.
It's got a good roster. Don't. I'm not knocking the roster.
I saw a comparison earlier today on a video I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
So Tekken 8 launched with 30 characters. I think Dragon Ball FighterZ on release, which is with a 3v3 fighting game, didn't have 30 characters.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not knocking the Tekken roster because the roster itself is very good and very thorough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just salty.
He's personally bummed.
He's personally
I'm just personally
hurt.
salty.
Personally salty. He was attacked. They attacked him specifically.
I don't got Eddie or Miguel.
Yeah. Personally attacked is what happened to you.
So I went and flexed back onto Lily.
Yeah. All right, let's hit our next topic.
I will say King is very satisfying to play.
Oh, I've seen some. I've seen
fun.
some of King's combos. They're fucking ridiculous.
It's so much fun. I think you weren't here when we were talking, or when I was telling him about it. Because it's like one of those games. Like I said, it's not going to be a main focus for it, but it's going to be one where I hop on a couple times a week, play a few rounds, and it's like I have been just like giddy with excitement while playing that game because it's just satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, he was going on about King. King's his boy, having a good time.
It's just,
I mean, me really learning Lily has been very satisfying because the hits are very nice.
Right. It's good. All right, let's hit our next topic, boys. So the report came out, I think it was actually just yesterday, maybe last night, this morning, one of the two. I think it was mostly yesterday, about apparently the Switch 2 has been delayed to Q1 2025. So that does still keep it in this fiscal year for Nintendo, which is ultimately what they were aiming for, but does push it out of the calendar year. And I mean, I saw backing from like VGC and Bloomberg, amongst a bunch of others, backing this report that yes, this is what's happening. It is in fact being delayed. That's what Nintendo's been telling its publishers that is being pushed there, mostly to build a stronger first-party launch. So if I had to guess, we'll probably get a reveal sometime like, I don't know, October, November, and then get the launch in March. Basically kind of copy-paste what they did with the Switch. Because that's what they did with the Switch. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Did they?
Yeah, they revealed it end of year and then launched it in March.
Which is, I mean, understandable if they want to, but if you want to delay it to be able to have more first party games release on it, just do the full year.
Right.
It's like give it the full year, because the problem with doing it in March is you've completely skipped that holiday window now. So now it's like you'll over the year, yeah, you're gonna sell it, but it's not gonna come out near as hot as if it does at the holiday time.
Right.
And also, if you're delaying it by like 3 months it's like you better be delaying it for a fucking banger.
See, that's my mindset.
It's like if
what's the launch?
If you're not delaying it for a flagship title and you're delaying it so you can have like 2 other like middle of the road
first party,
like first parties or something,
like a Mario
and
versus
I don't.
Donkey Kong.
I'm not saying that as like any knock to anything, but it's like it's like kind of like a new first party or like a new big Mario game or like a new big Zelda or a new big something like that versus
one of the big ones,
versus like
let's say
like a Mario sport game or something.
or like let's say Luigi's Mansion 4 for example. Like while everyone would love to see that,
if you're
come on.
it's like if you're not delaying it for one of your big boys
like Pikmin 5.
Relax.
I mean, after the reception of Pikmin 4, it might not be a bad idea.
Oh my God!
Yes!
You relax.
Yes. Okay, Alec, let me ask you: what do you think's gonna get a bigger excitement, a Luigi's Mansion game or a new Pikmin game? When honestly, it's like think back to the last release of a Luigi's Mansion game versus Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 had like a louder audience towards like liking that game.
Right.
But it's just one of those where it's like if you're not delaying it for a flagship mainline first party Nintendo banger, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, because at that point I'm expecting, like you're saying, like a Mario Odyssey 2 or something like that.
If that's not the case, just release it during the holiday time and then get yourself your other games there, because you'll push console sales there, and then a couple months later people are gonna be sitting there going, man, I need some games, and then you start releasing them.
See, my mindset is gonna be a 3D Mario. I think it's gonna be like a Mario Odyssey 2.
That's the thing. It has to be, or else it doesn't make sense. Even then, it's got to be bigger than Mario Odyssey at this point.
Yeah,
Right.
because Mario Odyssey was one of their flags when the Switch came out, right?
Yeah.
It came out in the calendar year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
But it
launch title was Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
It was like one of the.
Well, here's another thing.
Didn't Breath of the Wild come out on Wii U?
Yeah, it came out on both,
Yeah.
but it was a launch title.
Yeah,
for
it was a
Switch.
launch on Switch because I remember
Yeah.
that being a thing.
Yeah, but everybody had already played it on their Wii U's.
All right, John.
No, they came out at the same time, John.
But I mean,
Yeah, but nobody had
with,
Switches
with,
yet.
With that, with also saying the whole flagship thing, do you think they would possibly risk it for a big new flagship of IP of reviving an IP, like maybe Star Fox or something?
Star
like
Fox
that?
is what I thought of.
Star Fox, Earthbound, maybe not Earthbound because that's more niche, being an RPG.
It would it would have to be like a Star Fox or something like that, or
You think they could pull it off with like a Donkey Kong Country? If they did like a 3D Donkey Kong Country?
Well, there's been rumors and reports about a 3D Donkey Kong. We've been talking about that one for a while.
Yeah.
So that's possible. I could see that.
yeah, I think. Okay, here's what you do. You it's like you make your big 3D Donkey Kong game. You get your new big Mario game, and you release the console, and you don't put the games with the console. You sell them as a double pack to go like separately than the console,
Yeah.
which would drive both the game sales and everything. And then it's like you put it as the double pack with its own like special box art and everything, but then you also have them individually, so the collectors can get their double pack and everything that they want to have. And that's big enough to do by itself.
Mm-hmm. Will Prime 4 be ready for launch?
No.
Okay.
My brain went Prime 4 is something that I went, that game's not coming out.
I think it'll come out. I have faith. It'll happen eventually. One day, maybe a couple years from now.
When we're 50 years old.
Prime 4. Redfall's second coming.
Oh, God, please, no.
I think Redfall still has one player.
Hey, people are still playing Redfall. People went back to Redfall. They enjoyed going back to Redfall, John.
No, he found one article where a guy was happy about going back to Redfall.
I remember you talking about that, yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like, when the same updates came out, I watched a reviewer that I respect for his opinions who went back to it. His opinion was, I wouldn't recommend it still.
That's funny, but no, I mean, if you are delaying it,
Yokai Watch 4.
I've seen talk that Yokai Watch is coming back. Level 5 wants to bring it back. Okay, that's a thing. That's a possibility. So
I'm just throwing out random things now.
No, with this, I also saw that apparently Nintendo's 2024 is very bare bones right now, which I could see that. I mean, at this point of the game, I could see that, and now it just makes me think: are we finally going to see some of these, long rumored back pocket titles that Nintendo's got? Like, apparently Prime 2 has been ready to go for a while. Apparently the Twilight Princess Wind Waker bundle exists. I've given up hope on that one, but will we see shit like that come out this year?
No, you're not going to see anything that they've made. You're going to see them release something for Nintendo Switch Online.
That's true. That is true. But no, a launch lineup of like a Mario Odyssey 2, maybe a Prime 4. I think Prime 4 will be a launch game. In all seriousness, all jokes aside, I do think it'll be a launch title. I really do. What else will launch with it? I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see some port ups of like maybe like a Smash Ultimate Mega bundle that has all the DLC characters, like Smash Ultimate whatever. It has
Mario
everything.
Kart, of course.
Yeah, Mario Kart 9 is going to be one of the big ones. Is Mario Kart 9 going to be a launch title? That's going to be one of the big ones that people are going to be seeing when that's going to come out. Yeah. People are tired of Mario Kart 8. They're done. They're done. All the DLC's out. It's done. Let's move on. Let's get the 9. We've been on 8 for a long time. So that's also a possibility. I know Luigi's Mansion 2 comes out sometime this year. So, the remake, whatever, for a Switch. So will we see a Luigi's Mansion 4? Will this, 3D Donkey Kong or new Donkey Kong Country come out? We'll see. No, Nintendo's lineup this year is going to be pretty crappy. But I will say, when we did our predictions episode, me and John both hammered that like we think the Switch 2 is happening this year. But I did say it wouldn't shock me if it doesn't come out this year, but instead we get some dumbass, hardware come out like a Switch Mini. You know what I mean? Something stupid is going to come out this year. I still think that's possible.
All I'm saying is if you skip out on the holiday season to release it like first quarter next year, you're gonna need some bangers as launch titles.
You know what? I think it's gonna happen. I think
because the rest of the year is gonna be shit from Nintendo.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we're hoping for some hits to come in, but likely not gonna happen.
Yeah. Do people truly enjoy Redfall though? No. I don't think there's anyone that truly enjoys Redfall.
There's probably like one or two people out there.
There probably is. I mean, there probably is. I mean, I'm over here and I beat the drum for games people hate, like for Spoken, me and John. So there's probably someone out there who beats the drum for Redfall, and we just haven't encountered them yet.
For what the game was and the time investment you needed to beat it. Okay.
John, you literally said the only positive of the game is that it was on Game Pass, so you didn't have to spend money on it.
Yeah, because they were going to charge you $70 or something for the fucking game.
But you said that was the only positive about the game.
Yeah. But I still played it for 8 hours.
We live by a 7 out of 10 game is okay.
I know.
That includes 4 out of 10 games as well.
Oh my God. Okay, fine.
Yeah, Redfall at that time, it was like a 3 out of 10 game. Now it's probably like a 4.5.
4.5. All right, fair enough. Cooking Mama remaster incoming. Apparently, Cooking Mama's coming
Cooking
back
Mama
too.
is a really good series. So if that released, that would actually probably pop off.
I mean, I think Cooking Mama's coming back. So I think that's a possibility. I've seen conversation about that one. So also shout out to Andy for coming by, hanging out with us. We love you, Andy. Hopefully you're doing well. I miss you. But no, again, wouldn't be shocked, boys, if we see like a Switch Lite come out this year. OLED Lite. Or Switch Mini, it's even smaller than the Lite. I'm calling it now. We're gonna see some dumb shit come out this year.
You're really pushing for everyone's gonna release some mobile device this year.
Well, they're already a mobile device. What do you mean?
Let's make a smaller Switch that's gonna run even worse.
It's not the first time they've done dumb shit like this. I mean, they released the 2DS that no one asked for, where you couldn't even fit it in your damn pocket. I mean,
but that was made for kids.
That thing was stupid. Come on.
It was made for kids.
It was made for nobody.
Kids
Nobody wanted it.
Kids loved it.
No, nobody wanted it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The 2DS?
Which 2DS?
The first one, the original.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the big long one that it wasn't a foldable.
No.
Yeah, that thing was so stupid.
Yeah, it was made for kids who didn't.
No one liked it.
You're thinking of it as an adult's perspective. Kids loved it.
No. Kids love their 3DS.
Let's go find one. Let's give it to a kid. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, see what he
these
says.
days, you're gonna give it to him after the shop's gone.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, Andy pointed out another one. Game Boy Micro. Let's not forget about the Game Boy Micro.
Hey, those are actually sort of neat.
They are very neat. I think Game Boy Micros are super cool. So I forgot about that one. Thank you, Andy. You're helping my case right now. Nintendo's going to do something stupid this year. Switch Mini, baby. I'm calling it. It's going to be smaller than the Switch Lite. It's going to be like the size of a phone. You can just put it right in your pocket. You have a great time. I don't think it'll be like an OLED. I mean, because like the way I see it happening is like we got the OLED priced at $350. Base Switch I think is still $300. Goes on sale for like $250. Switch Lite I think it's $200. So like this Switch Mini will be like $100, $150. There you go. Yeah, it's the size of a Samsung Galaxy S22 or S23. You just put it right in your pocket.
Yeah, but why would I ever buy this Switch Mini when my Samsung Galaxy is more powerful?
But can that play Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes.
I could
Probably.
you could probably emulate it on there and it'll run better.
That's probably true.
And that's not knocking it because they optimized the shit out of that game.
That's true.
They pushed. That's why
they pushed the limits.
That's why it took so long to come out. Is they had to take the time to go. How the fuck do we make this run
work?
well?
I give them all the props in the world for that game, man. Like I am blown away with how well
Game runs better than Breath of the Wild,
dude. And that's baffling because there's just so much in that damn game. Kudos to Nintendo, man. Like they knocked it out of the park with Tears of the Kingdom. That's just unbelievable to me. But anyway, yeah, Switch 2 probably being delayed to Q1 2025 gives me more time to save up for a huge lineup because it's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna come out and I'm gonna look at it and I'm like, shit, I gotta buy like 6 or 7 games. All right, hold up. Legitimate question: do you think Nintendo will actually invest money into a new Animal Crossing game, or do you think they'll write off New Horizons as a lockdown one-off? I think they'll invest.
They'll make a new one, but it'll be a few years.
Yeah, it'll be a few years.
I mean, it did well enough with the Switch that there's probably some board somewhere with it written down for the next concept.
Yeah, like I understand the case of New Horizons. It's like it came out at the right time. You know what I mean? It came out in 2020 when the world shut down. So I understand that it kind of benefited from that situation. But even if that's the case, like even now we're in 2024, people still play it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that maybe like this is their first Animal Crossing, so like it brought in a new fan base, kind of similar to really like what Three Houses did for Fire Emblem. Obviously Fire Emblem was popping with Fates and Awakening, whatever, but Three Houses again, it really brought it to a more popular level than it's ever been before. And I see the same thing with Animal Crossing. And honestly, another thing to factor in as well for what New Horizons did, it's the simple saying that people like to say, it's the Switch effect. You know what I mean? Something goes to Switch, gets a second chance of life, like all the Wii U games that got ported up, or something gets brought over to Switch and then it pops off, or whatever the case is, right? So that's just kind of how it is with New Horizons, in my opinion. It's the Switch effect. I mean, while it came out at the right time, yes, it helped bring in a lot new fans. Like there are still new fans playing it now, looking forward to the next game. And keep in mind, like for a week, it was the #1 selling Switch game of all time, and then Mario Kart 8 beat it out again. Because it's still good. Mario Kart 8 still being bundled with consoles. It's kind of hard not to be. But I mean, it's the second highest selling Switch game of all time. So
it's also I've noticed over the years Nintendo likes to do this thing where they release something, it blows up in the world, and then they kind of just let it sit there for like 5 to 7 years. And it's like, yeah, they'll have little updates and stuff come out, keep feeding people a little bit here and there once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And while people want more of it, they kind of just let it sit there, and they're like, we're going to do another one eventually. But it's like, especially the thing of the Switch effect. New people are buying it because they just happen to have 3 Switches in their house.
True.
It also gives people time to go, I really like this. I wonder if there's been any other of them. And then they go back and they buy the older ones. And they play it, and then they get, but it's like by the time they kind of go back through, come back and play through everything again, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one that comes out now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like been Nintendo's strategy forever.
Yeah, and it works.
It's just like, we're going to release stuff. It's like, we're going to throw shit at the wall, and maybe a quarter of it sticks, and that stuff that sticks, man, people are gonna be clamoring for it when we finally release the next one.
Yeah. And also to further back up that I think they'll, invest in whatever the new game is. Hey, let's not forget they released a pretty expansive, DLC for New Horizons. So, I mean, I feel like that's just granted it's New Horizons, so it makes sense to invest in it, but yeah, that's still, I don't think they've done that before. I mean, they may have released like small DLC stuff before. I don't know. Andy, you could tell me for like maybe like New Leaf or whatever the Wii U festival game was, or the Wii game, whatever. I don't remember what that one's called, but I mean, New Horizons was a pretty huge, pretty huge expansion, a lot of new additions. I mean, I feel like that's kind of proof that they're, further investing in it. He says, that's honestly a really fair point. I think it encourages people to go back and purchase past titles, given the brand longevity and to build a fan base. Yeah, exactly. That's really the Switch effect. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like, especially games on Switch. Like, you have not even just like that type of game. Look at Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
We're talking about them potentially coming out with their new big 3D Mario game because it's been that long, and that's first year Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're ready for it, but that game has also had time for everyone who wants to play it, and a lot of people who may have picked it up on Switch or bought it bundled with Switch at some point.
And thinking about it, I mean, we just got hit with the most recent 2D Mario game, Mario Wonder, so people got their 2D fix, so
yeah.
It's a perfect time for them to roll out a 3D to hit that other fix.
Yeah, and Mario Wonder was, Game of the Year nominee.
Yeah.
It's just that it's that Nintendo cycle where they're like, we're not going to do yearly, because if we do yearly, you won't have gotten your fill of it.
Yeah. And when it comes to like just giving the brand longevity and stuff, honestly, just another point, it's like if you just make a really like amazing game, like that game is going to probably, potentially be, and well, probably it will be realistically, it will be the first time someone's played that franchise, for someone, and if they love it because it's an amazing game, it will help push them back to further titles. Like I'm a great example for a couple of franchises like Fire Emblem. I've dabbled in some Fire Emblem before, Three Houses. Three Houses what made me fall in love with it. And I've since gone back and have enjoyed other Fire Emblem games. Same thing with Persona. Persona 5 Royal, my first Persona. Now I'm enjoying 3. I've dabbled in 4. I want to continue 4. 1 and 2 might be a little rough, especially from what you've told me. But that's that's a different story. So like there are if you just make a great game, it's going to help push people to want to go back and to continue to experience the brand. Do you think a yearly release schedule feeds into the Call of Duty problem where game companies are expected to release games on a certain set schedule? Yes, 100%. 100%.
I mean, that's why several of them, like a lot of the games that were doing that, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, some of the sports games, WWE,
had to slow down.
They slowed down and cut back.
Yeah.
And which Assassin's Creed's picked up their pace again, which is sort of, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, because we had Mirage come out last year, and then this year we're apparently getting that Codename Red, the Japan one.
Yeah. And then Call of Duty for a while, I mean, that's why they had 2 different developers working on.
And honestly, hey, since we're on the topic of Nintendo and this question comes up, let's not forget about one of the most notable culprits with its last huge installment, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon is a great example with how horribly optimized Scarlet and Violet is. So I mean, yeah, I think a yearly release schedule of titles. I personally hate it.
What's like at this point, at this day and age, like the only things that really still do it are sports games.
Yeah, that's the big one.
It's like even COD at this point isn't necessarily doing it as much. They're moving to a more. It's like they'll still change the name of it, but at this point, they're kind of all in on their Warzone games and like Modern Warfare. It's just they're iterating on that base set of like that base system they have, and as a new game comes out, it's their entire ecosystem now feeds into Warzone. So it's like whatever they make there is going to all the weapons and everything are eventually going to make their way into Warzone and then back and forth. So even COD has changed their system for it.
Yeah.
Sports games are the only other one, which a lot of times are copy and pasted, which is why the NBAs, the NFLs, and those they end up being like the worst reviewed because most of the time it's a copy and paste.
Yep.
Where as like when they do iterate on something, people go nuts for it because it's like, hey, we've been asking for this for 4 years and you finally put it in and didn't just Control-C, Control-V and put a new cover on it.
Right.
So it's like even that stuff, like when it does get updated, it blows up, but it's like it's because we're used to yearly releases just being mediocre.
Right. And with sports games, like as someone who like would always dive into like the new Madden and stuff every year, those are ones that I wish would be like on like a bi-yearly schedule, and just every year, like in that break year where you're not putting on
roster
new game,
updates.
just do the roster update for everyone. And do like a full. I mean, we know they can do it. We see the size of updates games do. Just do a full update where even including their actual picture. Don't just like throw the characters in there with a blank generic picture. Just do a full roster update. I think people would be happy about that, as long as you're continuing to innovate on the game. If you're innovating on the game every couple of years, I think people would be really cool with it in that regard. I know we just we had the official little like general reveal of the new college football game called College Football 25. The full reveal is coming in May. This was a teaser. I apologize. And then it is set to release this summer. And I think that will come out as a banger because it just hasn't been a thing forever. But then my first thought is, okay, well, how's 26 going to be next year? Is it just going to be copy and paste, or are we going to innovate? So yeah,
or maybe with that one they'll actually just take their time and be like,
they need to,
and just be like, here's the game. We'll see you in a couple years.
They need to do that.
I really wish sports games would start doing that more.
Yeah, just do bi-yearly and just do roster updates. Please, just do that. I think people would be like a lot more receptive to sports games if you did that. But actually innovate the games every couple of years. Yeah. I think that'd be great.
I'm half convinced that part of the reason they still do yearly games for sports games is specifically for who's on the cover.
Yeah.
They want a different cover art every year.
Yeah.
They don't want to keep selling the same one.
That's fair.
And if that's the case, that's stupid.
Yep.
We don't want that.
Besides, Madden Curse is real, dude. So just get rid of the cover anyway. Madden Curse is so real. So just get rid of it anyway. All right. So, boys, you got anything else that you guys wanted to chat about, dive into, anything you've been up to? If not, we can hit the weekly wrap up. How we feeling? Boys?
So there's a new cool game that came out.
Shout out.
So Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh, yeah.
Has released there's a new game.
Yeah.
It's called I think it's Deep Rock Galactic Survivors.
I remember seeing something about that.
Which is a blend of Deep Rock Galactic and the like auto shooter Vampire Survivors type game.
Mm-hmm.
Started playing it a little bit earlier just because, big fan of Deep Rock Galactic. It's weird and fun because it has a lot of the mechanics of Deep Rock Galactic in it. But it basically like where Vampire Survivors or like Soulstone or something else, where they have like an open map that'll have like some walls and stuff that you have to path around.
Yeah.
Since this is Deep Rock Galactic, you can just mine through it.
There you go.
With anybody. Basically, you just have a pickaxe. You mine your way through everything. It's like, and as you kill stuff and level up, or mine like gold or nitra or any of the other resources. You get XP for it, and then level up, and then do your traits and everything. And then it has swarms, like Deep Rock Galactic, how it'll have the swarms that happen every now and then. This game does it too. You can get resupply drops, which are basically just the traits, like the additional traits that you could normally get that aren't like just bonuses for whatever your weapon is. It's like your generic character bonus. And then it's like kind of like doing a deep dive. You go into a mission, and I think the first mission has like 5 stages you have to go through. And it works the same way Deep Rock Galactic does, where you go in, you give it an objective, you have to complete the objective. But usually at least in the first stage of this Survivors type game, there'll be an elite enemy that spawns and you have to kill it and before you can extract. But yeah, then after you do that and complete your main objective, then you have to get back to the ship or else you get left behind.
Okay.
So it's interesting. I haven't gotten too far in it. I've only done a couple runs on it. I haven't unlocked all the classes or anything on it. But it has the same kind of generic progressions that every other one of these games has, where you get your resources. In this game, it happens to just be all the different resources from Deep Rock Galactic. And you have permanent traits you can unlock for like fire rates, damage, speed, mining speed, just all of that stuff. And then there's the 4 different classes, and then there's different loadouts that you can unlock for them as well.
Okay.
But so far, seems interesting. If you're a fan of Deep Rock Galactic, and you haven't played any of these other type of games, you'll probably still enjoy it just because it's Deep Rock Galactic. It has the same, like that same mission control that you have during missions, where they kind of tell you, oh, swarms coming to that. Same thing happens in this. Okay. They still make jokes and stuff between the stages and that. So it's fun. If you're a big fan of Deep Rock Galactic, give it a try. If you just like these type of games, this might be a way to get you into Deep Rock.
There you go. What about you? You been doing anything interesting?
Just Persona 3.
Okay, same. Yeah, same. Yeah.
No, I've probably been going at a slower pace than I really should.
I've been going at an ungodly slow pace, but that's also just because I've been traveling recently for work. So that's and is what it is. I'm not bringing my Xbox with me when I'm gone for a couple days here, a couple days there. You know, I'm just not. I'm not unhooking the damn thing. I was like, whatever. I'll just bring my Switch. I haven't even played the Switch, but you know, so I've been going at a very slow pace.
Yeah, I'm at 22 hours, 3rd section, 1st block, all stats maxed.
Nice.
I stopped. I took a break from playing it, not necessarily stopped. I just stopped playing most everything. Yeah. The last week or so. But when we talked last, that Sunday, I think I got just past where you were at when we did the podcast.
Okay.
And then that's where I stopped playing.
Yeah. I don't have all my stats max yet. The only one I'm missing is academics, but I should be literally right there.
You chose the longest one.
Yeah.
That one takes more points than the other two.
Yeah, 120. I think it's 120 is what it is. Because I looked it up. Like one's 80, one's something. But I mean, I'm at 5. So I mean, I'm almost there. Like honestly, like I'm probably at like 100 out of 120. So I mean, it's fine. Not really worried about
Slowpoke.
I've been busy doing other stuff, man.
Man, you can get it done all before summer vacation.
We're in summer vacation for me. Okay, I'm in summer vacation.
I'm curious just because I've not really played Persona. Is it something you try to focus on as getting your stats up? Because I'm not going to lie. The part of Persona that I get fucking bored by is when I have like 20 days in a row where I'm just like, okay, after school, I guess I'm going to go study or go do this or go work or something like this.
If you want to get access to all the content, yes. So for people like me, my first section of the game is literally just maxing out points to max those, because especially in 3, to get the Empress social link, Priestess social link, and Lover social link, you need those maxed.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the specific max stat associated with Mitsuru, Yukari, and Fuka.
Yeah. Because it's one of those where it's like, because that portion where it is, you have like 20 days where it's like, okay, I got nothing going on. I've progressed as far as I can. I'm just waiting on the next story beat to come around, where it's just, okay, day-to-day activities, raise stats, make money, social links, stuff like that. I'm like, I find that fucking tedious.
I like it.
That's the part that really drew people into Persona.
Yeah, it
the
is.
social stats more thing than anything.
Like, in some aspects, it's fine, but it's like some days where it's like, you're on it, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna, like, I'm trying to raise, it's like, especially when you're like, I'm gonna try to raise this stat up, and you're just, every day you try to do that.
Pretty much.
I'm like, man, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything fun.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on your preference, because I like that stuff personally. That's all.
I mean, if you want to, the other thing is you can just raise it naturally playing the game regularly and come back to it, because with the new game plus, you get to keep your stats.
Yeah. So, like, my first time playing...
But then the thing is, what else am I going to do during that giant span of time?
Well, there's several things. I mean, so the best way to do it casually is do the social links or whatever during the day. And
for reference, I'm where he was when we played last time. I don't know how to tell you really where I am. I'm at the floor 42 block. So it's like I've gone up in
So you're waiting. So do you have Mitsuru yet? Redhead. So you have Akihiko. Boxer.
Yes.
Okay, so you're waiting to do the Emperor and Empress fight.
Yeah, because it's like I played through it kind of. I'd go in the tower, I'd get up to where I couldn't progress any further.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, now time to just kind of work on social, work on stuff.
So the best way for you, since you don't like the grinding, I would personally say is
it's not even necessarily that I don't like the grinding. It's just like I said, you get like 30 days there where it's like, okay, it almost feels like you're not doing anything.
Well, and they sort of addressed that, because with things that came out with the PSP version, because as you progress that, once you get to a certain, which you wouldn't have got it because you need Fuka first, it adds in a thing to force you back and give you a reason to go back in the tower. Is the whole people get lost in there because they're getting called in by the shadows. So periodically Elizabeth would be like, hey, some dumbass is lost in the tower. You should probably go save them.
Yeah.
So it gives you a reason to go back in. Then in this one, they added in, which you haven't reached yet, the Mon doors, which is more or less the harder version of the tower, but also gives you better loot. Because in the original game, once you actually beat the tower leading up before the final fight, it was just like, so you beat the tower. This door spawned here. You can run the tower again, but it's harder. So it gives you that to fuck around with for like a month worth of days.
Yeah. I guess because the reason I get thrown off while going through and doing that is because, like, you get control of your character. It's like, end of the day, what do you want to do? And it's like, okay, let me check my messages, see what's going on today. People are messaging. It's like, hey, you want to go to the tower? It's like, I got no fucking reason to go to the tower. Why would I go to the tower?
The only reason to go to the tower once you clear a block is in this instance, is quick money. Just go grind out money real quick. If there's a locked chest you miss, because most of the locked chests after boss fights are actually worth getting. And that's honestly really it.
That's just the thing. It's like, because I would be I would be like going around, and the characters in the game are like, hey, we want to go to the tower. Are we doing that today? It's like, why the fuck would I do that? No, I'm gonna go over here and do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just that thing where it's like, the characters are telling me one thing, but it makes no sense for what's happening.
Right. Well, in retrospect, for their story base, they're just always like, hey, we just need to go to the tower to clear stuff out, because in the settings stories, the shadows are just always an issue.
Yeah.
It's just one of those where it's like,
no.
It almost feels like people who've played through the games like you guys, or especially you, when you're coming back and playing it, you're like, yeah, I know what's going on here. But me playing, I'm like, man, this feels like a stretch of a long period of time where fucking nothing has happened.
So here's the other thing with that, especially for you getting this version. This is the best version for just clearing the tower. Actually, I take that back. PSP version is the best one for clearing the tower, because they've completely removed the fatigue system, besides one little aspect of it, where after you do a night on the tower, you can go to the nurse's office to get a drink from Betagawa. It doesn't take up your time, and it just immediately gives you a point of courage to farm courage. That's the only thing they kept, because the big thing with the original 3 and FES was the fatigue system, which by halfway through section 2 is fucking pointless anyway. But after so many fights, your people would get exhausted and your stats would be abysmal. There's no reason trying to continue the running tower because you can't do shit. So you would actually have to leave and come back.
I would almost prefer that.
And so, like,
in theory, not
yeah. So, like, for clearing the first 2 section of the tower, you maybe had to min max it maybe 3 runs a piece because fatigue would wear you down. But by the time you reach the 3rd section where you have your main core party plus an extra member to switch out and whatnot, you can just run it through, because if someone gets fatigued, you just go down, grab someone else, let's keep going.
Well, that's kind of what it looked like and kind of figured. But
yeah, and then with the PSP version, they added the clock, which it was broken in the PSP version because the fatigue system was changed in that one as well, where they wouldn't actually get the fatigue status until you actually went back down to the original floor. And then the clocks did not cost Twilight Fragments, so it was free to get a full heal plus SP recharge, which is fucking stupid.
That's broken.
Yes.
That's broken.
Yeah. So, like, before any boss fight, if your people aren't saying, like, hey, I'm feeling exhausted and whatnot, you could just port down, get a heal, go back up, whip ass. Otherwise, if you start hearing the characters say, oh, I'm feeling tired and whatnot, don't go down, because then they'd get the fatigue status. Otherwise, you can just bull rush through it.
Yeah, because also, as someone who doesn't really play these games going through it, I am not one that is really stocking up on items or anything like that. And I'm going through it and I'm like, I'm just plowing my way through 30 floors in one go. And I'm like, man, I feel like at some point I should have been challenged where I feel like this thing that's telling me I have to pay these fragments to heal myself. I feel like that should be necessary at some point.
Not really at this point in this game, because of Reloaded, they have made it very much more accessible, because 3 was very SP item poor. So I would need to hoard SP items. This one, they're throwing that shit at you.
Yeah. It's a weird disconnect of things they're introducing you to early in the game that you don't need until late in the game when you've forgot about it.
Yes, because the whole reason that clock was put in was because how resource management you had to be originally in 3, because you could very easily get screwed because you didn't have SP items and you use healing items up very quickly. Which with Reload, they give you at least a large amount where you can management a lot easier. And that clock's really just a last resort at this point. I know way too much goddamn information about 3. Like, honestly, when I started playing it and we had the whole opening scene, I don't like how Reload opens. I preferred it as a cutscene, I'm going to be honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Where he just walks through the night, because the animation is just sort of like, why is my MP3 player not working? It just keeps walking.
Yeah, we were questioning that too with the opening.
That's the thing, because when they make you play through it, I'm like walking through it. I'm trying to interact with stuff, and it's basically the game just telling me fuck off and keep walking.
Yeah, basically.
And because that's more or less what he does in the opening original animation, or she, if on the PSP version. And like the opening with the door, and when the kid shows up, I'm walking in and went, "Where's that little shit?" In which they made. Which it's probably only obvious to me because I played and everything, but they made it in the Reload a lot more obvious that he's some weird being. Because in the original 3, he sort of just was more like a ghost and he didn't have any special effects. He'd just show up.
Right.
I mean, I have my gripes and beefs, but I mean, overall, it's still fun.
If they end up releasing the answer as DLC, like the Atlas leaker, said, would this be like the most is this the most complete way to play P3, because in P3 it's like all over the damn place because like FES, the answer, etc. Like, isn't there like no true complete version? Would this be the closest thing if they
It would
released
be the
answer?
closer because there was P3, then we got FES, which added the answer to P3. Then we got the PSP version, which adds the whole different perspective of female protag, but without the answer, plus a bunch of other stuff like the kitchen, dorm room stuff, the gardening, all that things.
Okay. So if they release the answer, this is the most complete version.
More than likely, then
Okay.
with some of the aspects like they've added in, which makes combat easier, like the baton pass being added into 3, because that wasn't ever a fucking thing. The fact of the matter that they made it where your teammate's default is direct command and not act freely. You know, I have to have a fight with people because in 3 and 4, for some goddamn reason, your team member's default command is act freely. And there's a lot of people who believe Persona 3, you cannot control your teammates and that they're solely AI controlled.
That's unfortunate for them.
Because not once does the game pull up a tool to me like, hey, you can change your people's commands in the original 3. So if you don't look for it...
That's funny. That's funny.
Get fucked.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready to hit the weekly wrap up?
Sure.
Okay. Andy did ask, before I forget, have you guys seen the Overwatch updates? Did they make the game good? I have not seen anything. That's just out of my timeline, honestly. I haven't been following anything Overwatch in a long time.
Same.
Yeah. You know, I'll be honest, if they actually kept true to the vision of what Overwatch 2 was supposed to be, I would probably still be like on board with it. But like it went against everything that made me excited for it. And apparently it's dog shit. Andy says dog shit. So there you go. And Overwatch 2 is still dog shit to no surprise.
I think I may have played it once. And I was just because like some buddies wanted to play it. And I was like, I guess. And then I was like, after a few minutes, I was like, or after one session, I'm like, all right, never doing that again.
I'm honestly surprised no one's tried to netcode in Overwatch.
They basically changed everyone's projectile size and hitbox to the point you almost can't miss. You know, I saw that on TikTok, I think, now that you mention it. I think I saw a thing about like Genji. I saw where Genji's like losing his shuriken ability. Or no, it was his deflect. He's losing his deflect, and it's gaining some new shuriken like swipe up ability thing. I also saw some stuff like Reinhardt or something changed with him. I know Roadhog had... did Roadhog ever like lose his heel and get like a Spider-Man grappling hook? I remember seeing that being a thing, but it was only in PTR. I don't know if it ever actually came out. Let's see. He can't dash during ult anymore. Oh man, poor Genji. Poor Genji. That sucks. Overwatch is just a shit pile. Hopefully Microsoft can fix it. Hopefully Microsoft can fix it. Blizzard's gone up in flames, especially here recently with more people leaving, like Mike Ybarra leaving and stuff like that. So hopefully they can fix it. All right, let's hit the weekly wrap up. Before we do, special shout out to our other partner here, Rogue Energy. You can use the referral link down below, promo code Spark3 to get 10% off your order. And we would definitely appreciate that extra support. Pick up Rocket Pop. It's really good. Sour candies are good too, but they're out of stock right now, unfortunately. I looked at that earlier because I need some more.
Yeah, they're out of stock of a lot of things.
Yeah, that, and I think Black Cherry they're out of as well. But they got Rocket Pop in. Strawberry Kiwi's in too. Strawberry Kiwi's awesome as well.
So yeah, I just got me some bubblegum and Radiant Russian. So
there you go. Haven't opened the game in months. I feel you. I haven't opened the game since Overwatch 2 came out. I played it when it came out, and that was it. All right, let's hit the weekly wrap-up, boys. So the first thing is the Embracer Group stuff. So Embracer Group just continues to burn, boys. You know, they make this big purchase. I say big purchase. It's a big purchase in terms of, like, nobility, but, like, money-wise, they got it for chump change, where they bought all the Square Enix, like, Europe assets, I think, which is, like, Crystal Dynamics and a few others. But they've apparently canceled 29 more unannounced games between July and December. The restructuring plans have seen 7 studios close, resulting in over 1,300 job cuts. It's almost 1,400 to be exact, which is about 8% of its global workforce. CEO did say the restructuring plans has now entered the final stretch, but more cuts are coming. Some notable studio closures have included the Saints Row developer Volition, as well as Time Splitters developer Free Radical Design, which if you guys remember, like a year and a half ago, they did announce Time Splitters was coming back, and now they're just no longer a studio at all.
The Volition one I'm not really surprised by, though.
Yeah. I'm not surprised as well as I am at the same time. You know what I mean? Like I know Saints Row is kind of just a thing, you know, over the last couple of entries, but it's still just like it's still notable. You know what I mean? It's like
They haven't done anything.
I feel like you'd at least try to just put them up for sale or something. Like Gearbox, that was surprising to see they put up Gearbox for sale. Like I think that's very shocking that they just threw Gearbox. I mean, they've had Gearbox, you know, for a few years now. So I think that once it's like 2020, 2019.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Gearbox is put up for sale. Borderlands developers. Saints Row 3 slapped. Yeah, see, we got a Saints Row 3 fan in here. I think it was Saints Row 4 that just really sucked, didn't it? I don't remember.
No, Saints Row 3 was the one hated. Saints Row 4 gave revival.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Saints Row 3 Andy's a fan of. So, I don't know. But no, Embracer, man, like they make this purchase, taking over like the Square Enix stuff, and it's just like then they just like go on a rampage, just shutting studios down, canceling projects left and right. And it's like not even just Square Enix Studios projects; it's like projects of other studios. Like I don't know exactly what the whole restructuring plan is at Embracer Group. Because it's just like out of all these titles, it's been that has already been announced. Like, are they on the chopping block? Like, you wouldn't think they would cancel like the newly announced like Tomb Raider game they announced like a year and a half ago, whatever. But it's like, is that going to be on the chopping block? It's like I don't know. Embracer's whole restructuring plan, I don't know what it is. Like, I just don't. All I ever see out of Embracer is just more stuff being canceled.
It's almost like they went and bought all of this because they wanted a few select things, but they could only buy they could buy it as a package deal.
Yeah, that's my
and
vibe
they're just like, okay, everybody else get the fuck out of here. We wanted this.
Sounds like it.
That's the exact vibe
Sounds
that
like
I got.
buying a mystery card box.
Yeah, exactly. And just throwing away everything that you don't want.
It's like,
if
you buy this mystery card box, we'll give you this.
Yeah, exactly.
And they go, well, I want that.
I don't want anything else. I just want that. That's the vibe that I've got. I don't know. I mean, like, dude, like, shout out to everyone who's lost their jobs. Hopefully you've already found a new one, or you will soon. Because that sucks. I mean, like, that's been the ongoing conversation the last year now in gaming. Like I said before, just a couple weeks ago, 2023 was like the best year in gaming ever in terms of the quality of games coming out. But at the same time, it was like the worst year in gaming for developers.
Yeah.
Like game development is such like a rocky industry right now. Just game industry in general. Where it's just like I saw people like, some people that I follow, put out where it's just like, if I was in like game development, there is like very few jobs that I would be willing to move my family for. It's like, remote jobs I feel like really needs to just continue to be the future because of how unsteady, the industry is. And I think that's very fair. Next thing here, I wanted to shout this out because it just made me really happy to see. So there was a new game that came out this week called Banishers: Ghost of the New Eden. This is a game that I've had my eye on for a while. I wasn't able to pick it up because I'm broke. It's unfortunate. I'll pick it up soon. But when this game was coming out, I didn't see a lot of people talking about it, and I was just hoping and praying it was just going to come out and be a good game. And it's actually come out with some pretty good reviews, like an 82 on Metacritic, lots of 9s, 8s, and 7s. So it's really cool to see. Overall, looks really solid. Gameplay looks great. The story seems interesting. I'm looking forward to picking this one up and playing it at some point. But then also, Skull and Bones finally came out. Shout out to that. Started off at like a 55 on Metacritic. It's actually gone up to a 64 somehow. I don't know how.
I'm just waiting for my lawsuit.
Yeah, just waiting for that to happen. Lots of low and mid scores. Looks about as expected. But also, special shout out to our friend Dave. He's the only person I know that played the game. So before it came out, me and him, we were on the phone. We were talking about and just general bullshit, seeing how you're doing kind of thing, And we're talking about some upcoming games. And he mentions to me that he's looking forward to Skull and Bones. And I was taken back. I'm like, wait, what are you looking forward to? He's like, I'm looking forward to playing Skull and Bones. I'm like, are we sure we're talking about the same game? Like, are you sure about that statement?
My immediate question would have been, what do you know about it, Dave?
See, that was gonna be that. I did ask him, like, what do you know? He's like, I don't know. I just think the concept just looks really fun. And I'm just like, all right, man, you go have a good time.
Skull and Bones, its only hope was to appeal to I'm assuming to people like Dave, where they see a trailer and they go, that looks cool.
I want to be a pirate.
But they don't. But they don't look any further than that. Like,
yeah,
I get caught off that guard that way with games sometimes.
Yep.
Where it's like, yeah, that trailer looked good. I'm gonna remember that name.
Right.
And then when I see it pop up in the store, I'm gonna buy it.
Yep.
And yeah, that's got to be the only people they were like marketing to.
Basically, Andy says, "I love Assassin's Creed Black Flag." Yes,
I mean, Black Flag was a great game. Its naval combat was fun.
if only this game actually came out when it was supposed to.
Guess what you can't do in Skull and Bones? Board other ships.
Exactly. It's literally the same game without the Assassin's Creed combat. I mean, yeah, it is because when he says it's literally the same game, he is correct because all the vibes of this game is everyone says like this game took 11 years to develop, but it feels like a game that came out 15 years ago.
Because that's all it was supposed to be.
It's what it was supposed to be.
People liked the Black Flag naval combat. It was fun. It was innovative at the time. It was supposed to be its own thing. They fucked up.
Yeah, they did. So when Davin texted me, right, he said, I played 1 hour of Skull and Bones and I am unimpressed and uninstalling. 10 out of 10 would not buy. I just thought it sounded neat. I was just like, I saw that one coming, buddy.
You should have warned him. He spent $70 on that.
You know what the worst part is? Like he spent it to the point where he was able to play it early because this was last Friday when he texted me. Because if you pre-order bought
You're
it.
so mean.
The fuck did you do, man?
I just let him figure it out, man.
I would have at least.
Dave, if you're listening back, I'm sorry. I knew when this was gonna happen.
Alex, I would have given a warning.
I kind of gave a warning. I just didn't hammer it like, hey man, this game's gonna be ass cheeks. I was just like, hey man, I don't think that game's gonna be very good, but you have a good time, buddy.
So you did like, I see you're gonna hit that thing, but I mean, I'll point it out and hope you see my finger.
Basically.
No, you should have at least been like, hey, make sure not to hit this point, like the early access. Don't pay for that.
Right.
You're gonna regret that part at least.
Poor guy. I love you, Dave. I'm sorry, man. All right, let's move on. Apparently, a Nintendo Partner Direct Mini is going to be coming out next week per report, so look forward to that. It's going to be great.
Okay.
You gonna watch it?
No.
Okay, cool. I'm not either.
I'll be the one to watch it. All right, I'll watch it. Apparently, a Dragon's Dogma 2 demo could be coming, and they also confirmed that the game is going to have uncapped frame rate. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty sick.
Is the demo going to carry your progress over into the main game?
And Dragon's Dogma.
Well, the demo's not announced. This is just report.
I know, but
yeah, I would assume so.
I would assume so because the Dragon Dogma's original demo carried over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole point of my question is, if it doesn't, it's disappointing because demos have been coming back and they've been carrying progress, which is better than we could used to hope
I'm
for.
sorry, we just got demos back.
Shout out to
That's
demos.
what I've been happy about.
Yeah,
I mean,
shout
I'm
out to
happy we
demos.
got demos, but for these games that I'm going to play, I would like my progress to carry over.
Yeah. And speaking of shout out demos, just I think we've mentioned this on the show before, but just special shout out to the demo discs back in the day. I loved those things. Those things were awesome.
You want one?
Which one?
Gotta have to see which one it is.
Is it on GameCube?
No.
Okay. Because I don't have the one anymore that had like Splinter Cell, Beautiful Joe. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
That was the one that I had. Loved it.
No,
Loved it.
I got a couple PlayStation ones, which are a mixed bag.
Okay. Well, loved demo discs back in the day. Those are awesome. Apparently, Respawn is making which I think, didn't they change their name? Aren't they like Respawn something? No, I think that was Focus, wasn't it? Focus changed from like Focus Entertainment to something else. Whatever.
Something dumb.
Something stupid. Anyway, Respawn is making a first-person Mandalorian game, it's claimed. So, I mean, if that makes sense.
If somebody's going to do it.
Someone's got to do it. I mean, it might as well be Respawn.
Might as well.
I did see where it's like not going to be like open world or anything. It's going to be a very linear, kind of similar to like the Jedi games.
I mean,
So,
that'd be fine if it's following the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I'd rather
fine.
it not be an open world game.
Yeah, that would be sort of tedious.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's fine. We did get the Evo lineup. We got Street Fighter 6, we got Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, Grand Blue Versus, Under Night in Birth 2. No clue what this is. Never even heard of this title.
It's Under in Night Birth 2. It is an amazing 2D fighter.
Have never heard of this title
Because you're
until
not
I saw the lineup.
you're not into the fighting game scene.
I'm not.
Alex,
you're right. And
Alex,
also Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Let me put it this way. Also, that's Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Guilty Gear Strive. I know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you didn't say it.
I was gonna give
Look, I figured if I said Guilty Gear is on the Evo lineup,
that is not good. That is
I
not
figured
due.
most
Because
people would know it's just the new one.
No.
You can't do that anymore because let me put it this way: the only game from that list that was a surprise to be there is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, because Evo's been doing this new thing for a couple years where they do all their main games, and then they do one older game that they still hold a tournament for people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Third Strike is gonna be a mainline Evo tournament game. Last year it was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was the game that they did it for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're doing this thing where they do these older games. So you can't necessarily just say like Guilty Gear,
okay,
because it could be
the original Guilty
in a couple
Gear.
years.
Guilty
it
Gear
could be that.
XX.
Okay,
Guilty
that's
Gear
all
XD.
right. Now that you've explained it, that's fair. I was just under the impression that if I said it and you follow Evo, you knew what I was talking
Also,
about.
John, I
but
didn't
that's
realize
fair.
you watched Under N9 Birth stuff.
Oh yeah, no. When Evo time comes around, Zach, I'll have both my monitors going. I'll have my TV going. I'll bring other TVs in the room
That's dedication.
to have as many screens up for every game as possible.
Because Under Night fights are very fun to watch.
Under Night is probably the one I watched the least of. This past Evo was Mortal Kombat 11's like swan song, so I watched the entire tournament of that. But yeah, no, like this year's gonna be interesting with because it's basically gonna be the first big tournament that has all of the new games in it.
Yeah,
So that's gonna be fun.
it is going to be fun.
But yeah, Under Night, I enjoy watching. It's not my favorite to watch, but I do enjoy watching it. It's one of those where it's like the less you know about it, I think, is almost more fun.
I could see that with that.
In my opinion, on that game. Also, just because it's hard to follow all of the fighting games that are going on at once.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say this last Evo, Guilty Gear Strive, ended up probably being the one I had the most fun with, other than the Street Fighter 6.
Now you get Tekken 8 to watch.
Oh yeah,
Gonna be a great
this
time.
is gonna be a wild.
Oh, yeah,
Evo.
Evo's going to be fun.
Evo is gonna be wild this year.
Let's see. Next thing, New Game Plus and more updates coming to Spider-Man 2 on March 7th. So shout out to that. If you've been waiting for New Game Plus, it will be here very, very soon. Some Atlas and Sega leaks from the notorious leaker who has his information. He's got a 100% proven track record. Never been wrong. Apparently, Persona 1 and 2 remasters exist at Atlas, as well as a Persona 4 remake. So that is interesting. He did make sure to kind of specify that, like, when it comes to Persona 1 and 2, they weren't going to probably be, like, reload-like style remakes. So it sounds
That'd
like...
be more of a surprise if they did.
Yeah, so probably more of a remaster for those. Those may also be bundled together, too.
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
Apparently, a Sonic Chow mobile game is coming to Netflix Games, because that's a thing, in case anyone forgot, I did. There's also a Sonic Sports title coming to Apple Arcade, as well as there's also a Shin Megami Tensei game coming to Netflix Games, which I think will be a 5 spinoff, I think. So it's gonna be a Netflix game. You got to play from the Netflix tab.
Better be a gotcha game, otherwise they can fuck off.
Yeah, we'll see. The last piece of news I've got, the biggest W of them all, Live and Learn from Crush 40 is confirmed to be in Sonic 3, the movie. That is the biggest W of everything here. Because my one complaint about both Sonic movies is that there has not been any Crush 40. You know, just throw one song in there, please. That's all I've asked for. And now we get Live and Learn, the most notable one. So I'm here for that.
You know what would be really great? If they threw in a running from an 18-wheeler scene in there.
Honestly, wouldn't shock me if it's going to be in there. I mean, it really wouldn't. I mean, this is basically Sonic Adventure 2 is what this game's going to be. I saw where they had like a...
So wait, are we going to have a amorphous blob on the screen the entire time?
Potentially. We'll see. Maybe.
You know they're trying to push Shadow?
Who knows? Maybe.
We just going to get all 3 of the GameCube villains together?
I would have loved to see a Sonic Adventure style movie, but I mean, the natural way to go is to just go 2 and focus on
Are we
Shadow.
going to watch Knuckles be dumb as Rouge the Bat makes her first appearance?
Oh, 100%. No doubt in my mind on that one. Because like I know that they revealed like more cast members, whatever, and some pretty notable names like Kristen Ritter, you know, Jessica Jones. She's going to be in it. So I imagine she'll be the voice of like Rogue, or she'll be the voice of Amy. I think Rogue and Amy both will be introduced.
Amy better die.
Wow, fucking harsh. Then of course Jim Carrey coming back as Eggman is
I don't
huge.
know why I want Amy to die so much.
That's just harsh, man. That's brutal. But anyway, all right. So that's all I had for the weekly wrap up. You boys got anything?
You awake, John?
Yeah, I noticed on screen, John, just like, well, let's take it out.
It's the Sonic time. I'm out.
All right, you boys got anything else for the
I'm
weekly
good.
wrap up?
Oh, Naraka season 11's going.
Shut up. Shut up. John, you get anything?
It left me. I had something. I don't know what it is, so we'll move on.
All right, I'm gonna hit the music. We're gonna get out of here. We should be back next week with no issues. Oh no, we'll see. All right, let's go. Out.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. Yeah, let us know things that we missed, whether it be something new, something bad, something good, maybe something we don't care about. Let us know. We'll say something maybe.
All right, everything he said more. And if you liked what you saw with us this week, we tend to do these episodes every Saturday at about 6 p.m. Central Time, so come check us out then.
Yeah, we should be back next week. You can also check us out on our website, sparky3.com. You can set it for free. Set it $5 a month. We'd appreciate that extra support. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Agent Inc. Buy a jersey. We got some sick jerseys on the site, best on the entire site, as well as check out some Rogue Energy with the referral link down below. Promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off your order. Join the Discord. Come chat with us. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Until next time, bye.